I found out my wife was unfaithful through a text she sent to the wrong person. Me. She'd meant to send it to him. I replied, "Interesting message." Then I forwarded it to my lawyer, her parents, and her boss. When she realized what she'd done 3 hours later, her entire world began collapsing in front of her, and all I did was sit there and watch it fall apart piece by piece. My name's Daniel. I'm 37, and up until that morning I still believed I had a pretty normal life with my wife, 35-year-old Emily, who I'd been with for almost 9 years of marriage and nearly 12 years together. I was in a finance meeting at work, half listening, half daydreaming about lunch, when my phone buzzed and I glanced down expecting something about groceries or some silly meme she'd sent. Instead, I saw a message that knocked the air out of me so quietly that nobody in the room even noticed I suddenly couldn't breathe. "Last night was incredible. Baby, can't stop thinking about your hands on me. Danny thinks I'm visiting my sister next week. You should come over Monday night. We'll have the whole place to ourselves." I stared at those words like they were in a language I didn't understand, except I understood them perfectly. And the worst part? I wasn't going anywhere next week. The trip was something she told me about, not something I'd ever told her. She had built an entire fantasy schedule around cheating in our home, while believing I'd be cluelessly out of state. Something inside me went cold and unbelievably calm. Not rage, not heartbreak, just a coldness that made everything look sharper, clearer, quieter. I took a screenshot, then another, then saved in my cloud, emailed them to myself, and even sent them to a secure folder I use for tax documents, because at that point I was functioning like a machine. I typed back, "Interesting message." No punctuation, no explanation. Then I walked out of the meeting, told my boss something to come up, got into my car, and started making calls like a man practicing fire drills. First call, a divorce attorney my coworker used, Madison Green. Her paralegal picked up and said they could get me in that afternoon. Second, Emily's dad, Charles. "Hey, what's your email again?" I asked. He hesitated, but gave it. I sent the screenshot. No explanation. Third, HR at her company, a mid-sized marketing agency called Bright Bridge Creative. She always complained they were strict about interoffice relationships, bragged once about 2 people getting fired for dating. I found the HR email on their website and wrote, "My wife Emily Callahan is your employee. She mistakenly sent me this message instead of sending it to the man she's having an affair with. If this involves another employee, I thought you should be aware given company policy." Attached screenshot. Sent. Done. I sat in my car for a minute afterward, not shaking, not crying, just breathing like everything suddenly made sense. I went back inside, answered emails, drank bad office coffee, and waited for the bomb to go off. She didn't see my reply for hours, probably too busy at work, or texting a guy from a different app. When work ended, I went to my attorney meeting. Madison looked at the screenshot and said, "This is cut and dry. Any interest in counseling?" "No," I said, and I think that might have been the most certain I'd ever sounded about anything in my life. She asked questions about assets, accounts, the house. I told her the house was mine from before the marriage. She nodded like that was very useful information. She said she'd have documents ready by Friday. Then she leaned forward slightly and asked, "Does your wife know you know?" "Not yet." She didn't comment, just gave me a look that said she had seen this exact kind of situation 100 times before. When I got home, Emily's car was in the driveway. I walked in and she was making chicken stir-fry, smiling like she wasn't minutes away from emotional Armageddon. "Hey, babe, how was work?" I said, "Interesting," but she didn't even notice. She just kept talking about her day, client drama, annoying coworkers, normal life stuff. I nodded at the right moments, said things like, "Wow, that's wild," while feeling absolutely nothing. It was like watching someone imitate a wife I used to have. We ate dinner, watched a show, and she curled against me like she always did. Except I didn't feel warmth. I felt the way someone feels after anesthesia, when you know something big happened but the pain hasn't hit yet. Around 9, she went to shower. Her phone lit up with a notification on the coffee table. "You're not answering. Everything okay?" A number I didn't have saved, but I knew exactly who it was. She came back down, checking her phone casually, and I watched her face morph. Relaxed, confused, alarmed, panicked. She scrolled through her sent messages, and then it hit her like a truck. Her mouth fell open. Oh my God! I stood up. Don't bother explaining. I already sent that text to my lawyer, your parents, and your HR department. She dropped her phone. It actually clattered against the floor. You what? You heard me. Daniel, my job. You can't. I can, and I did. Around 10 this morning. A good 3 hours before you realize what you did. She broke down crying. Full meltdown, mascara everywhere. It didn't mean anything. Which part? I asked, the affair, or texting me about it? She had no answer. I grabbed a pillow and blanket. Guest room's mine now. Don't talk to me. Go through lawyers. I locked the door behind me and slept better than I had in months. The next morning she was outside the door before sunrise, slipping handwritten letters under it, begging for forgiveness. I didn't read them. I tossed them in the trash unopened. Her calls went straight to voicemail. Emails were filtered directly to my attorney. That afternoon, her dad called. He sounded older than I'd ever heard him. Son, we got your message. We're devastated. I know, was all I said. Would you consider counseling? She planned to bring him into our house while I was supposedly out of town. This wasn't a mistake. It was a pattern. He went quiet for a long moment and then said, I understand. Her mother called later and gave me a lecture about marriage being hard work and forgiveness. I told her, your daughter burned the marriage down. I'm just walking out of the fire. She hung up. That day, Emily came home early, stormed into my office while I was working remotely. HR pulled me in. They're investigating. They think it might be someone from work. If it is, we're both getting fired. Actions of consequences. I said without looking up, this is vindictive. No, this is me informing the appropriate people. She dropped to her knees like she was in a soap opera. Daniel, please call them back. Say it was, I don't know, taken out of context. No, I'll end it. I'll do whatever you want. Therapy. Anything. Should have thought of that before bringing someone into our marriage. She snapped, grabbed a picture frame, and threw it. Glass everywhere. I pointed at the door. Get out. She stayed with her friend after that. Good. I didn't want her under my roof. Papers were ready by Friday. I arranged for a process server to deliver them to her office. Madison said, that's aggressive, and I said, good. The next week, her best friend, Tessa, barged into my house without knocking. Daniel, what the hell is wrong with you? One mistake, and you're ruining her life. Sleeping with a guy repeatedly is not one mistake. She regrets it. She regrets getting caught. You're heartless. I'm done, I said simply. She left after calling me a few creative names. Process server delivered the papers at Emily's job on Tuesday. I heard she cried so hard she had to leave for the day. I felt a little bad for maybe 3 seconds. Then the affair partner called me from a block number. This is Jason. We need to talk. No, we don't. Look, man, things got out of control. She's losing everything. Her job, her family. Not my problem. You could have handled this quietly. She could have kept her pants on. We actually care about each other. Fascinating. Lose my number. I hung up. Later, Emily tried to come home while I was at work. My Ring camera caught her crying on the porch after her key didn't work. I'd changed the locks. My attorney got an email from hers claiming I was forcing her into homelessness, and she needed possession of the house. Madison replied, your client has family, friends, and a boyfriend. The house was purchased solely by my client pre-marriage. She has no claim. Silence after that. Then HR made their decision. Emily was fired. Not just for the affair. She'd been sleeping with her subordinate. Huge liability. She called me screaming. Somehow got my new number. You ruined my life. I forwarded one text. You ruined your life. My lawyer says I deserve spousal support. Your lawyer can try. She showed up at my office with Jason later that week. Security escorted them out while I watched from the window, drinking a coffee. Her mom texted me, "What you're doing is cruel and unusual." I replied, "Cheating isn't a hard time. It's betrayal." No response. Tessa found me at the gym. She's staying on my couch. She's not eating. She's falling apart. That's not my responsibility. 9 years, Daniel. She threw away 9 years. Court was 6 weeks later. Emily showed up with her mom, her lawyer, and Jason. Bringing the affair partner to divorce court was a choice I'll never understand. Her lawyer argued she needed support. My lawyer brought up the prenup Emily's parents insisted on, which ironically punished the cheating spouse. Judge read the text and said, "Ma'am, this is clear." Her lawyer tried saying I weaponized the text by sending it to her employer. Judge said, "Forwarding evidence is not weaponizing." Final ruling. No spousal support. Assets divided per prenup. House remains mine. She pays her own legal fees. Outside the courtroom, she tried one last time. "I hope you're happy," she sobbed. "You destroyed my entire life over a mistake." "You destroyed your life," I said. "I just refuse to go down with you. I loved you. People who love don't do what you did." Jason put an arm around her. I smiled at him. "Good luck, man. Hope your name's distinctive in her phone." He paled. I walked to my car and drove home. To MY House, my quiet space. After everything, life settled. I repainted rooms, replaced furniture, started sleeping deeply again. Her parents stopped contacting me. Mutual friends said she moved in with Jason. 1-bedroom apartment. She's struggling to find work because her last job ended in an ethics violation. Meanwhile, I got promoted at work. Funny how much energy you have when nobody at home is gaslighting you. I started talking to someone new. Just coffee, nothing serious. When I told her the short version, she said, "She accidentally sent the affair text to you. That's impressively stupid." "Yep," I said. "And you forwarded it to her boss?" Seemed appropriate. She laughed. "Savage. I respect it. Do I regret any of it? Not really." She wasn't sorry about the affair, only about the consequences. She wanted me to cushion her fall. I refused. The text was a gift. Clear evidence. No gaslighting. No doubts. Just truth. And truth, even painful, is better than living beside someone who can look you in the eye at dinner while arranging to betray you in your own house. Life's peaceful now. Quiet. Honest. And honestly, that's all I ever wanted.